we're gonna catch them just like y'all are catching them, but we gotta, go about it the right way.
Right.
So that way we're not making a bunch of enemies out of law enforcement. Because then it's like, okay, we catching pedophiles, but we gotta also look out for the police too.
Right. I was gonna say, have you ever had any run-ins like while doing one of these?
We've had a couple police officers that weren't happy about it and kind of like tried to stand in the way. And I never really understand that because it starts to feel like it's like you damn near protecting the pedophile. Like, you tripping on me? Like, well, this could be considered false imprisonment. I'm like, bro, no one has this man tied up in a corner somewhere. Like,
right.
You
didn't put those thoughts in his head.
Yeah. If we're here with you, then that means you done crossed the line. You done did everything. You done checked every box. Like, he's guilty. All right, for sure. I'm good.
Appreciate you for joining me today.
For sure.
Everybody, welcome. You tuning in to the Highlight Podcast. My name is Ron Carson. I'm your host. Today I have with me Angelus with Street Sweeperz TV. If y'all heard of him and his whole team, they've been active in Athens. We've seen him really the past couple. It's been like a year, 2 years now, right? You've been doing this?
No, it's been like 6 months.
Okay,
like 6
okay,
months.
feels longer.
You've been out
here that long, it seems.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh, I've been in Athens probably like 7-8 years, but the Street Sweeperz got started about like 6-7 months ago.
True. So I guess we'll start there, bro. Like, what really got you into wanting to start this organization?
It's kind of like, a lot of people think like it's like something that just randomly started, but like with my background, like I've had like worn many hats or whatever, but adults messing with kids, like, has been something that like the people that I grew up around have always like shunned, like in the prison. Like, I went to prison for like 7 years, and like the COs would come and like let us know, hey, this dude's in here for this. And like we'd handle it, you feel me, type situation. So it's kind of like it's something that's already been there, but maybe just in a different form. But about 6-7 months ago, my son, my 6-year-old son, had got leukemia, and it kind of like it put me in a weird place where I just like felt like I wasn't being a good parent, and I was putting everybody's happiness and my job or whatever in front of being a father to my kids. And kind of like it put me back in a mind frame where it's like I wanted to be a better dad. And then I don't know, just not liking everything that we see in the news with the Epstein files, and then these people's names in there, and they still get to
live their life
and make money and capitalize on the little guy. So it's just like, well, what can you do? It's like you can't just kick down certain individuals' doors, but these little stragglers, these little kibbles and bits around here, we could do something about it until we get enough of a voice, and then we can maybe address those elite
right,
quote unquote.
Tell me this, tell me about the first time you guys pulled up on somebody.
Oh, the first time we was in it was at Starbucks on Atlanta Highway. It was a Hispanic dude that could barely speak any English. Well, he made it seem like he couldn't speak no English, but them text messages was in English. I ain't gonna lie, I was lightweight nervous. I was just like damn near going on my first skit for real.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of nervous. I didn't really know if it was gonna be an issue with the police. I didn't know if it was gonna be an issue with the business itself.
Right.
But I was just like, hey man, I done did way worse in the street, so let's do it. And my team was there with me, and it was simple. I learned a lot from it, and it kind of like put things into perspective on how all the cases following would go. So.
Right. Tell me, how does this stuff kind of work when you're trying to like catch a predator? Like what do you have to watch out for? What things could get you in trouble, or what things can, like, how does this, because you first jump in, you figuring it out, but like now I feel like you got a process. So
exactly,
how did you kind of like build your process up, or how you guys go about this?
There was a lot of trial and error. It definitely was a learning process. Like as you go, there's not like the booklet on how to catch predators or anything like that. So watching Chris Hansen over the years, and then watching some other like predator catching groups and how they do things, like the platforms they use to catch them. Even like listening to what the questions on their chat logs, what the decoy says and stuff like that. But it wasn't like, that wasn't a primary. It was just based off of just common knowledge. Like you meet these people. We didn't want to meet people on standard dating apps like Bumble or Tinder or anything like that, where it's like you really got to get to know somebody, then meet up. The ones we work off of are like primarily like hookup apps, like sex dating apps. Like,
oh, okay,
I see you're close to me. I see you within a mile radius. Let's hook up.
Right.
So it doesn't take like months and months and months of
planning,
evidence gathering.
Right.
It's just like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? I like you. You like me. I'm 14. Okay, let's go. Like, you feel me?
Right.
And then next thing you know, now you in our waters. So then we try to we let them lead the conversation, so that way it's not like, even with Chris Hansen, a lot of people think that every single one of those people that got hauled off in the police vehicle went to jail, but a lot of them didn't. A lot of them just got booked in and let go, and then the official investigation starts with the actual police and CID and sex crimes and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah. So
how would you say? Because I think there's probably like a line that some people would draw, And
one more question, one more thing that we learned. Like,
sure.
So pretty much we kind of like learned the principles of entrapment, and then the principles of false imprisonment.
Right.
And like, we make sure to the best of our ability, we refrain from doing anything that'll, me personally, I'm not really too worried about going to jail if I have to, especially when it comes to protecting a child. But, there is certain things that you can not do, to where it's like the target isn't on you. It's really about them.
Right.
There's other groups out there that, beat these people up and, do all type of stuff, and it's entertaining. And I support it, even though you shouldn't support violence, but I support it all the way. But it's just like, I'm not really in a place, and none of my team is in a place where we could just be fighting a bunch of cases and being on the run. Like, we grown, we got kids that we got to be there for, jobs, businesses that we got to be there for. So it's like, we're going to catch them just like y'all are catching them, but we got to, go about it the right way.
Right.
So that way we're not making a bunch of enemies out of law enforcement, because then it's like, okay, we catching pedophiles, but we got to also look out for the police too.
Right. I was going to say, have you ever had any run-ins like while doing one of these?
We've had a couple police officers that weren't happy about it and kind of like tried to stand in the way. And I never really understand that, because it starts to feel like, it's like you damn near protecting the pedophile. Like, you tripping on me? Like, well, this could be considered false imprisonment. I'm like, bro, no one has this man tied up in a corner somewhere. Like,
right.
You
didn't put those thoughts in his head.
Yeah. If we're here with you, then that means you done crossed the line. You done did everything. You done checked every box. Like, he's guilty. We're not just pulling up on people that maybe just a little bit. There's people where I let them go. Just because it wasn't like concrete,
Right.
So I just, but
what does that do? Like the stigma, or at least knowing that, hey, like if we catch you, we're gonna out you.
Yeah.
You're not hiding.
Period.
What do you feel like that does in other people that are they might not even know about y'all, but they run into y'all?
It does a lot, because, me coming from like a criminal background, it's like, when you're doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing, you don't want to be caught for it. You don't want anybody to know. Your guilty conscience is already bothering you enough without everybody knowing. So when we do expose these people, it's like, there might be somebody paying them to watch their kids, or they might hold a position in the community where they're around kids. A lot of times these dudes want to be around kids. They're in the church. They're running mentor groups and all this other stuff. It's like, bro,
they making money off
if those parents knew, you would not be around their child.
Right.
So it's like, a lot of people just think it's clear cut. Like, we want these people in jail. Like, yeah, of course we want them in jail. We want them in graveyards. But more importantly, we want to keep.
You want justice.
Yeah. I want justice, but I don't want a child to have to be raped first,
Right.
in order for this person to get some type of consequences. Like the police sometimes want the deed to happen first, and it's just like, bro, that's a huge sacrifice just to have this person in jail for a couple of years when that child's life is gonna be ruined forever.
Right.
So it's like what we do is kind of like a preventative measure, to where it's like that doesn't have to happen for them to get the consequences,
Right.
Even if they don't go to jail, it's like now everybody knows. Now he gonna have to go to another city and think that you just gonna start a new life there. We're gonna find out where you at and then let them know too. You feel me?
Right.
So yeah.
I definitely, I want people to understand more about you, bro, because you mentioned earlier you have your own family. You guys have jobs. You guys are working.
Yeah. This is
The-
my full-time job now. I love this. I'm gonna do it until I can't do it no more.
And that's what I was saying. Like, there's a difference between you doing this for profit and more so doing it for purpose.
Yeah.
And I was curious, just like how, you guys are still kind of just now starting. So
Yeah.
it's like, whether you're making money from this or not, there's a difference being made.
Yeah.
So what would you have to say to people that like feel like, well, because I saw you did a video about it. So I'm like impeding investigations or things like that. Like, I want you to speak a little bit more to that. And the message that you was trying to put out earlier.
Earlier today. The message I was trying to put out earlier today is that that's something that we have been told from law enforcement, like, these type of things and the independence of it could really lead to you guys ruining an investigation or imposing on an investigation. But the people that we've caught, they weren't under investigation.
Right.
Like, and if they were, I know for sure that's something that law enforcement would have like let us know about, and then we could just give them information to add to it. But that guy, the UGA professor specifically, nobody was investigating him.
Right.
He's going to work every day with his little satchel and teaching kids, and everybody thinks he's just above suspicion,
Right.
and he's out of here now. You feel me? Like, he's banned from UGA. He left the country. He's gone. And that never would have happened without us doing what we did, So it's like, to the people saying stuff like that, it's just like, it doesn't, I don't know. It just seems like a lack of common sense. Cause it's like, if I was a parent, I might not want my child to have to even know about these things, but I also don't want this person near my child too. So it's like, kind of like, you just gotta,
Gotta move with common sense.
Yeah, it's common sense. But
Did you guys talk to anybody over at UGA beforehand?
Yeah, Detective Page called me.
Okay.
Because I had made a post on Instagram. I took a picture of the building and said there's a professor in this building that's doing some crazy stuff. And then, the UGA, a lot of people in UGA started sharing it, and then they had sent it to the police. And then Detective Page called me and pretty much asked me like what my intentions were, like what's going on. And I gave him, I was completely transparent. I told him, every key element of
what were your
going
intentions
on.
like with it?
Yeah. He asked me, did I know, there's another dude named Adam Spence out here that runs the Real Predator Hunters. And he was a cop out here for like 20 plus years, so we've collabed on a couple catches, and he knew him. So,
okay.
And I let him know, like, I've worked with him before with this specific thing. So he's like, I'm pretty sure he's like, well, if Adam is dealing with them, then I'm pretty sure this guy has to have some type of sense or something.
Credibility.
So, it added a little bit of credibility to it.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, that's what we need. I think, if we're dependent on, I think we've all learned growing up, if you're dependent on the justice system to really solve all of our problems, it's like, are you looking at the education system to really educate your child fully? Like, exactly. It's like some of these things you still kind of got to be hands-on. And I think that's what they're trying to do with this, is that, if somebody else isn't going to take this responsibility, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And, somebody, like, as I said, I read the comments and some people are like, oh, they're profiting off of this and this traumatic situation. I'm like, bro, is a doctor not going to save your life?
Yeah.
Like, or it's like the doctor is going to make a lot of money saving your life.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest incentive he got.
Oh, God.
And
it's like, to those people, it's like, what would you rather us do? Like, would you rather us not say nothing? Would you rather us not be doing this? Like, do you realize how many people that we've actually caught, and like how many people it's not easy for them to repeat those actions because of what we did? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's not like we're starting a nonprofit and just getting all these funds.
Asking
like
for funding. That's the real finesse.
Yeah. First of all, we ain't got no money. Like, we are still struggling. All of us are still struggling right now.
Right.
Like, you mean it's not like we're really profiting off this. Like, we've gotten little crumbs here, $10 here, $10 here. A couple people like 100, 200.
Well, real quick, tell them how they can send some stuff your way, support the cause.
We have a GoFundMe account. It's Street Sweeperz, with a Z at the end of the Sweepers. I think we're the only one up there. Hopefully there ain't no gimmicks up there, but yeah, Street Sweeperz on GoFundMe. We have a Street Sweeperz unit, Cash App, $, Street Sweeperz unit. So yeah, any donations and anything given is definitely appreciated. Prayers is always welcome too.
Get you some merchandise too while you out there.
We got some merch going on. We got some shirts in production, some hats, and I'm personally designing some sweaters. That's not just a logo on there. That shit gonna be hard. Like,
all right, we're gonna be on the lookout for it. You so like you guys are based here out of Athens?
Yes, sir.
Right, but you guys cover most like North Georgia, or really you going where they
Georgia,
at?
All of Georgia, and then once we actually get the funds to travel, we're gonna start going state to state.
Okay.
If we can go country to country, we definitely will too.
Right. What's something you feel like people don't really understand about y'all, you and your team?
I think there's probably a bias because like you see like people like me and like just the different faces of the team, and it's like, well, that doesn't fit the standard crime solving hero. Like,
right. It's not Scooby doing them.
Demon. Like, this man looks like a demon, but it's like even in the streets, like, I was always somebody that stood for morals, and like a lot of times, like, there might be some perfect hair, perfect teeth, suit wearing politician that I would never trust my daughter with, but there's a tattooed face gang member dude that got 6-7 life sentences, like murderer, that I would literally leave my daughter in his cell and trust him because I know anybody touches this little girl, he's finna get wicked. Like,
right.
Like, I would trust them. Like, I know my daughter would be able to walk the yard like with everybody and nobody would touch her because it's like there's a system and morals. Like, I come from California where it's like you go against the grain or go against the rules, it's not going to be pretty for you feel me, at all.
Right.
Like, in a very serious way.
You feel like people misunderstand what y'all are doing?
Maybe I could see certain things being misconstrued because of who's driving, but the bottom line is we're trying to protect kids and
right.
We're trying to make the community safer. We're about the community. We're about the people that could be victimized and the people that have been victimized that never really got any justice. So,
right. Do you think that like this style of justice, like independent, you think that's becoming more common now because the lack of awareness in addressing some of these issues?
Definitely. I definitely see a lot of predator catching groups out there popping up. And I feel like as long as they're going about it the right way, the reality of it is that they're an instrument of law enforcement, even if they're not law enforcement. Like, everything that we're doing for free, we pass to them, and they get paid for it, and they get majority of the credibility and the majority of the, the credit for it. But it's really not about the credit. It's not about the clout. It's not about, the increments of donations. It's not about none of that. Like, I would do it for free. Like,
right.
if I seen somebody's kid being touched or violated, I'm going to jail for free. Like, I don't care if it's not my child. Like so, I always say, evil prevails when good men fail to act. I'm
right.
God's child, so it's like I'm gonna step for his most prized possessions, which is kids and righteous people. You know what I mean?
Fair.
And I've lived a certain life where, I do take some enjoyment in that, like sliding on a pedophile. I love doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it. You feel me?
Right.
It's an adrenaline rush for
me.
And it's like I'm doing it for the right reasons. I used to do it for all the wrong reasons. So
I was gonna ask you, like, if one of your things turned out to be wrong, like, how do you handle that? Have you guys ever been in that kind of situation where just things might have?
Not really, because we're not perfect, but we do tend to cross our T's and dot our I's. But I mean, I definitely, if I was wrong, I'm gonna do everything in my power to undo what we did. I don't really see it being wrong because they send pictures.
Right.
We're not.
You send a picture of your stuff to
Yeah.
anybody that's not, even if it's an
Yeah.
adult, like.
And then you sending pictures of your face and then everything else. It's like it's kind of hard to misidentify, you know. But I mean, if there ever was a situation like there was one where at the QT on Atlanta Highway where the dude was like super kind of secretive and like he only sent a picture of half of his face. And you know, sometimes a person might look a certain way on a picture and then not really look like that in real life. So for 2 seconds, I was like, man, it might not be him. I'm over here pressing this dude. But then we called from the decoy number and then his phone started ringing. I'm like, oh yeah, we in here. We good. Like, what you doing here, boy?
Right.
Like, for real, for real.
Right.
So, you know, there has been a handful of occasions where I wasn't sure if this was the actual person, but it usually always ends up being him.
Right.
But if it was, I would go out of my way to like let people know. I'd make a whole post about it. Like, I was wrong. This man ain't done nothing wrong.
Right. But you ain't just looking for point out any random person. You just want to be accurate and direct.
Yeah.
I feel it. What would you say if somebody was like, you need to stop, you don't need to do this no more?
I don't think that's really an option for real. Like, unless they passed a law, but at the end of the day, we would just adjust how we do things and then, you know, go around it. But I don't really see, like, when you do things the right way, there's not really anything that someone could point out to say, well, look, they're doing this right here, so this shouldn't be happening. Like, we haven't hurt. I've never gotten physical with anyone. I've never had to hurt anyone. You know,
you ever sent them to jail? Just curious, like after you ever had a catch go and be like, oh, we calling the cops, and the cops picking them up and like taking them?
There's been a couple situations where they do haul them off in the car for sure. And there was one where the dude, like the law enforcement officers definitely told us like he's going for enticing a minor for sure. So that's the desired goal and conclusion of all the catches that we have, but sometimes it just don't go like that. Sometimes it's like, okay, you guys did the investigation, that's cool. Now give everything to us so we can start an official investigation.
Right.
So
do you how often do you guys collaborate with law enforcement now as far as
every single time?
Okay.
Even if it's just a phone call notifying them like, hey, look, this is what's about to happen. This is what's going on. It's good that we have had the notoriety that we've had to where it's like when they hear that name, they already know what's going on. You know, with, like I said, with Detective Page and the UGA situation, he already heard about us. I mean, he already knew. Like, the majority of Clark County is following us on the social medias. You know, and even if it's just like a post that we make with someone's phone number, usually we don't try to give out personal information, but we know that they're watching. So it's like, even though we might not be able to catch this person in person, at least it will put them on their radar. Like how they say that, you know, you could be impeding or imposing on an investigation.
Right.
Shit, maybe us just giving you this information might start one, you know?
Right. Some of the questions you feel like people aren't asking about what you guys are doing.
I be having so much stuff I gotta do. I don't even be thinking about stuff like that, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
people don't understand that there's laws really protecting these people.
Huh.
And it's like I try not to like put that out too much because I don't want to encourage this type of behavior where it's like, yeah, we can't do this and they don't ever go to jail, because then it's gonna make people that want to do it kind of like, well, shit, I ain't going to jail. Shit, we might as well make it a party. Like, no, you're going to jail.
Yeah,
like, this microphone on, you're going to jail. Like,
the discouraging thing is that if they do go to jail and they get out, all they have to do is register and still live a pretty normal life. Even live by elementary school or by whatever, what may have you.
Right.
So we had a situation with Mike Perry.
With who?
He was a man.
Mike Perry. He lived across from Fowler Drive Elementary. And he was I think, in his 50s. We had caught him.
Wow.
He was like directly across from Fowler Elementary. And I'm like, bruh. And supposedly, I'm not gonna say all that. I ain't gonna say all that, but supposedly he had that, you know.
Yeah. How do you feel like these people, you know, what do you think goes through their mind that just makes them feel like I can be right here in this area and doing this stuff? Is it childhood? Is it? I mean,
I think
You can read people sometimes.
I believe heavily in God, you know, and I think that a lot of times lust, you know, the Bible and all the holy books specifically address like lust and how that can control your life, just like greed can. And I think that, you know, when you are trying to live righteously and get parallel with God, you mean that's not the only force here. I mean, I wish it was the only force here, but a lot of times like you have another force that's trying to get you away from it. You know, and like even though this person might walk out of the door every day going to work, living righteously, like what are you doing behind closed doors? That's really where integrity comes into play. Like integrity is really being a good person even when no one's looking, you know, even when no one's watching. That's what real integrity is. And I think that there's like a lack of integrity in this world in general. So, you know, I think that the devil is always at work. I think all that the darkness is always at work. And if you're not aware of it, it could really be controlling you and you don't even realize it. I mean, in the most subtle ways, greed or, you know, looking at your brother's wife or
glutton, or
you mean your brother leaving some money on the counter and he's in a different country and he's just like, I'll just take a little bit. You mean like that's where your integrity is really going to show or your lack of. Right. So I think it's just lack of integrity, lack of morals, lack of God.
Right.
You know, because if you really keep God first, you ain't finna be doing nothing like that. Like, it's just not finna happen.
It doesn't live in your body. It doesn't live in your soul.
Period.
Yeah, man. I definitely want to say you're doing a thankless job.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people want to thank y'all for what y'all doing.
Yeah,
but sure. You know, I definitely say we appreciate you. We support you.
Definitely. And it's like, I really didn't have, like the video that I made earlier and posted, or the 3-part video I made earlier on Instagram, I didn't have to do that. I could just be like, man, I don't care what them people are talking about. But, you know, us being an instrument of the community and also an instrument of the people that are paid to, you know, enforce the laws of the community, it's like we do want to answer to the community. Like if there's something y'all feel like collectively feel like we're not doing right, then yeah, I don't ever want to be bigger than the program. And that's like comes from
facts,
gang culture and California culture. It's like ain't nobody bigger than the program.
We all got a code a little bit.
It don't matter if you the face of it and you got all the money and you're not above reproach, you know, and the moment you think you are, that's when problems start to happen. That's where your pride, you get big headed and you start making mistakes. You know, we all got rules to follow. Even in the mafia, they told John Gotti, they were like, we survive by our rules. You mean you're starting to get big headed and thinking you bigger than the program, brother. And that's, we starting to see problems because of it, you know? So you just got to remain humble. And if the community feels like we're not doing something right, like, yeah, I could just bypass it, but I don't want to be that person. You know, like if the people that we're trying to serve are saying that this isn't serving them, then, you know, like shit, maybe they right.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah.
I definitely appreciate you for coming on, bro. I want you to show the rest of the team, man.
Hey, man.
Yeah, y'all come on up. Come stand up here. Let's show.
Y'all got to get up in here, man. It ain't about me. It's about the squad.
Real quick. Okay, we the Street Sweepers out of Athens, Georgia, Street Sweepers unit. My name is Angelus. Call me Angelus Godzilla, Angelus Pereira. My brother Amar right here. Someone from Loganville. Lady AD right here. She from Florida. But she pretty much from Athens. You feel me? My brother AD Santana, original right there. And then we got Banks, Tennessee Finest, all of that. This ain't the whole team. We got Tootie and a couple other people, you feel me? But yeah, all these people right here care about keeping the kids safe, keeping the community safe, and they all invest their time and don't ask for anything in return. So they definitely deserve, you know, a shout out at all times.
Yeah, man, we got to support these folks.
Yep.
I appreciate y'all for coming, man.
Stay up high. So.